Kailash Chandra Kar, Advocate and Executive Director TLAO, to preside over the function.
P.K. Mann, Senior Advocate, to have his delegation.
My dear friends, I respected elder brother and all distinguished dignitaries of the class and friends and etc. So here, that we as the lawyers, when we enter into High Court, from my experience I am saying that it was an anxiety for me while reading in the college as well as also in the law college. Anything happens, somebody faces some illegalities or any accident or anything, let us go and file it. And everybody has an interest who enters into practice also will file the petition. While I joined in the chamber of the great man who is over there, late Ranjit Man, the Bharat Law. While I joined to start practice, he said me, do you know what is the petition, what is the constitution, and have you read what is the basic knowledge of the constitution, why writs are filed? Everybody is saying that writs. Then he said, take a book of the constitution, then you come after 15 days and join the everyday come to the chamber. I used to come. Then after some time, he had given me a brief and said that he will give a note. I had given the note. Then he asked me, why the writs are filed? Then I said, sir, writs are filed to enforce the fundamental rights, the legal rights, and also the statutory rights. The statutory rights and legal rights are also the fundamental rights that is derived out of that. Our constitution has guaranteed us, our country has guaranteed us our right to live freely with freedom. And what is the right? That is under part 3 from article 12 to 35. And it's very nicely it is framed. You see that it starts state has to act fairly. That is also decided in many Supreme Court cases. There is no time to discuss about the case law. Those case laws are there. The state has to act fairly. And if the state has to act fairly, which is the sovereign function of the state, that is called sovereign function of the state. And state has to give all these rights, then those are enumerated. Article 32. Article 32 provided us the Supreme Court. The Supreme Court is to enforce the fundamental rights. Then why the High Court? Then that Article 32 said that the Parliament can also confer such power to enforce such right by any other court. That is why under Article 214 High Court is stated. And High Court is given one more power. The power of the High Court is much more wider than the Supreme Court. Because the High Court has power under Article 226 and 226. The High Court is to issue whatever the 5 writs. As before me, other speakers have enlightened you all these 5 writ of mandamus, writ of certiorari, writ of prohibition, writ of want of violation, all these 5 writs. Whatever is issued by the Supreme Court under Article 32, those are also issued under Article 226. Besides that, High Court has the power under Article 227, the superintending power over all judiciary. That means judiciary also includes quasi-judiciary. Supposing judiciaries, all judiciaries means whatever the judiciary or civil court, criminal courts, district court, all other courts, how they will function, what will be their rules of procedures, all these things prescribed, forms are prescribed, and said that while issuing deed, also they find out what are the error in the order. So that is why the judgments the Supreme Court has held in the case reported, that is 2003 Supreme Court. In that case, in the Suryodaya Rai case versus Ramchandra 2003 6 SEC 675. What Supreme Court held? Supreme Court held that a writ can be also issued, writ of certiorari against a private body, by rectifying the order of a subordinate court, also to issue the writs. There it can be issued against a private body and under the writ of certiorari. Then now the question is that writs can be issued against whom? The writ remedies are the public remedies. The public remedies, hence it has to be issued against public authorities. So what are the public authorities? That is the state authorities and defined authorities. So test has been, what will be the test for testing an authority to be a state authority or the public authority or the public or the instrumentality of the state? There have been so many judgments which have started from International Airport Authority case. Those cases are in Ramana Dharam versus International Airport Authority, AR 1979 Supreme Court 1628. Then it is further developed in Ajay Hasia case versus Khalid Majood, AR 1981 Supreme Court 487. They have laid down the ingredients that should be falling within that, so that it can be a state authority, and they have categorized in 5 numbers. If the entire share capital of an authority, our corporation, the grid corporation, IDCO, so many authorities are there. Why the state functionaries? There the state has created those functionaries to give aid and help to the state to perform the function of the state. The functions of the state as per the directed state policy, principle of state policy, and other constitutional objects, whatever they are, because state itself within its own machineries cannot do. That is why they have formed all these functionaries. That is why it was test is that if the entire capital is held by the government, then if financial assistance is given by the government, if the monopoly status is enjoyed by that authority, and if the existence of deep and pervasive control of the state, if state has got a control over that authority, and if the function performed by a body are public. I was conducting a case of NESCO and WESCO authority, as you know, they are the all electricity distribution companies. So then the question arose, because in the reformation process, the state electricity board that was referred to then WESCO, NESCO, all these things. The question came in a case of whether they will come as the public authority under the right to information or not. Then it was decided in those cases, reported cases, that this our honorable court decided that since they are discharging the public duties and they are always related with the public functions, that is why they will be also state. And more particularly, in fact, the state had no funding to them to the maximum extent beyond 50%. That was less than that. So that was held to be state. So now, the further question comes to my mind. Let me clarify. Many times, the state, by making the amendment and making law has tried to curtail the power of the High Court. The right example is before us, the administrative tribunal. In 42 amendment in the constitution that was inserted, Article 323A and 323B. By virtue of Article 323A, our Administrative Tribunal Act 1985 was enacted. In that, the tribunals, administrative tribunals created. Then they said that, because why that was enacted? Because High Court is to decide more important matters. Why all these service matter again only important? The matter of public importance to be decided by the High Court. So it should not be modern. So that is why all such matters should go there. Then in the Administrative Tribunal Act, the appeal provision was provided to the Supreme Court. Then it became a debate in various cases and the adjudication before the Supreme Court that as to whether the power given to the High Court under Article 227 can be curtailed like this or not. Then ultimately the Constitution bench judgment. That is, I think everybody must have known this because there was a lot of resistance and agitation while the tribunal was abolished. The tribunal creation became rather frustrating the provisions in making the amendment and creation of that. Because it was further the High Court was overburdened. So that is why in the L. Chandra Kumar case, Supreme Court had, since the Supreme Court said that in 1997 Supreme Court said that the power of the superintending power of the High Court under Article 227 cannot be curtailed. So that is why all whatever the order is there will be passed by the tribunal will be also subject to supervision by the High Court. Then in that way all the matters were again overburdened with the High Court. So that is why the government thought it to abolish it. So now the question further that who are the authorities, who are the public authorities against whom the writ can lie, whether against the private body. As I said, it can lie against the private body and it can also lie whether it can lie against the society. As my elder brother already has spoken about this, that society, there are different kinds of society. In the case of BCCI, Supreme Court held that it is not a state. It is not a case state, and that was held in AR 2015 Supreme Court 3194. Because why? Because it is not financially and functionally or administratively dominated by the government. And also the same was held in G Film Limited versus Union of India, AR 2005 Supreme Court 2666. So society, it is differs from the society. In our state there is the Odisha Primary Education Program Authority, which is a society. And that society is fully funded by the state government as well as the central government. Merely because it is not a society, it is a society, it will not that. Because that is coming within that test. Whatever the test I have spoken to you, that these are the 5 ingredients of the test. It comes only within that. Then the private body against that also it can lie. Private and unaided minority school not tested. Why it is not tested? Because they are immune under Article 30 of the Constitution as a fundamental right that has been given to them. But in 1985, Supreme Court, in a case of Frank Anthony School, the Supreme Court had interfered. Why interfered? Because the teachers, those who are there, they are teaching the students to impart the proper standard of teaching. They must be properly also paid. They are discharging the similar duty like that of the other teachers of the government school. So their standards should be maintained. For that, the Supreme Court has interfered with the matter. instrumentality of the state. The instrumentality of the state, the private body having the public function with the government control, dominated by the government its administration, then it is state. The state action is subject to judicial scrutiny under Article 226. Under Article 226 and then under Article 227, under Article 226, the state action, as it is held by, I was telling, that in year 1987 Supreme Court 1086, that is in MC Mehta case. It is land merger. MC Mehta case, MC Mehta versus Union of India, there it has been held, the state action evolved from state aid, control and regulations and state is that is supposed to act fairly for the welfare of the citizens. The Supreme Court has held. The supervisory jurisdiction, so far it is concerned, so far the subordinate judiciary is concerned, while a matter is challenged, its order is challenged, the validity, legality and its whether it is legally passed or not, then we file the writ petition under Article 226 and 227 of the Constitution. Under Article 226, the High Court will issue the writ and under 227 will rectify the order. It is a by simple meaning and simple understanding, but it is a vast discussion and vast, there are number of case laws on these matters. In the administrative action, as the law laid down by the apex court, the court cannot direct or advise the executive in the matter of policy. But the court can interfere in the policy matter if it is against the public welfare and against the constitutional object. In that, it has been decided in this regard by the Supreme Court in Ekta Shakti Foundation versus Government of NCT, New Delhi, year 2006, Supreme Court 2609. And when supposing somebody comes to file a writ petition, we have to examine also whether bypassing the alternative remedy he has come up. If there is an alternative remedy, supposing in a particular statute, a person supposing under a Consolidation Act, an order has been passed by the appellate court, the appellate authority, deputy director, something like that, then we cannot bypass the revisional forum and directly come to him. In that case, the restriction is there, where efficacious remedy is there, then Committee of Management versus BC, Vice Chancellor, in year 2009 Supreme Court 1159, the Supreme Court has held. But it is not always a bar, because if such an alternative remedy is not efficacious, immediately one cannot get relief. Supposing in a statute, there is appeal provision or division provisions, but for getting an interim order, there is no provision. In that event, what will happen? Then the court has to be approached. In a cell tax law, while the revision was being filed, while the assessment in the appeal was being filed, then stay was being sought for, then there was no provision for giving the stay out. So that is why the people were coming directly at that point of time while Odisha Cell Tax Act was there, directly to the Honorable High Court for getting an interim order. Unless you get the interim order, then ultimately that appeal will be imposed. So there in such cases, there will be, unless there is efficacious remedy is there, then one cannot directly come to this. The High Court is having the extraordinary jurisdiction. Sparingly and cautiously and exceptionally, the order should be passed and interfered by the High Court. So that is why it has been held by the apex favorably year 2008 Supreme Court 86. The law has been laid down in this. Then whenever, because all young lawyers are there and others are there, whenever anybody is coming with anxiety, being aggrieved by some action, that we file a writ petition. Immediately the writ petition blindly should not be filed. It must be examined whether the action of an authority is immediately amenable to jurisdiction or there is other legal remedies are there. If that legal remedies are there, directly one should not approach to the High Court because there are case laws and that is the object of law. It cannot be directly entertained. Why it should not be directly entertained? Because in the High Court, what grievance you can make against whom? Because supposing an order has been passed by the OLR authority and against that appeal lies and we are directly coming to this High Court, then High Court may ask that what grievance you have the appellate authority, why you have not gone? So that is why that case should be examined and this is my advice also. As I was told by my senior that please don't take 100 of cases, out of that only 2 to 3 cases are good cases and your other cases will be dismissed. Then 2 cases people, if they say that yes it is a good lawyer, they will say he is a bad lawyer, don't go. Take 10 cases you take, out of that you take all 10 cases. If you lose 1 case and you succeed in 9 cases, then you will get number of cases and people will say he is a very good lawyer. So this is the paucity of time and I am also restricted. So others will say, thank you all.
Senior advocate Mr. Pankaj.
Gentlemen of the dais, gentlemen and ladies of the dais, members, appeal bearers of Lawyers Academy, ladies and gentlemen. Very rightly and appropriately, this lecture, this symposium is dedicated to Sri Kalkiwala.